Welcome to today's journey into the heart of healing and transformation, where we explore the profound power of the emotion code. I'm thrilled to welcome Mila, the visionary founder of Inner Wisdom Holistic Healing, who will guide us through this fascinating world of emotional freedom and self-discovery. Whether you're well-versed in the art of holistic practices or new to the concept of emotional healing, this episode promises insights and stories that will illuminate your path to wellness. Let's dive deep into understanding how the emotion code can be the key to unlocking a more vibrant and authentic you. Let's welcome Mila to the show.
Hi everyone, my name is Mila Velazquez. I am a physical therapist. I am a certified emotion code practitioner and an intuitive spiritual healer.
For people who don't know what the emotion code is, what is the emotion code and who can benefit from it?
So anybody can benefit from the emotion code. The emotion code is a mind and body holistic approach to healing. And what it does is it identifies the underlying root cause of an issue and releases the energy and the blockages that cause maybe pain, suffering, mental distress, destructive patterns, and behaviors in us. Things that sit in our subconscious, and when triggered, when our nervous systems are triggered, it just kind of comes out. So we sometimes, everything is energy. And so when a painful event comes in, which is also energy, if we cannot somehow take it in, digest it, and filter it, and have an exit, it sits there. And since emotions are energy, when a painful emotion comes in, it's like a hot ball of fire. It comes in and it doesn't filter, it attaches to us and it starts to vibrate a different frequency and a different vibration than your own body does. And eventually it causes an issue, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, destructive patterns.
So if someone has neck pain.
So if someone has neck pain, I would look at things as a physical therapist. I would take a look at the range of motion. I would take a look at the strength. I would, palpate the muscles, see where this is coming from. Maybe take a look at the MRI to see if there's an underlying structural reason. And that's what we treat, the physical issue. But what happens when we start to treat the physical issue and we're doing everything and nothing goes away? That kind of tells me we didn't hit the nail on the head, because the body has an innate way of healing itself. And as energy healers, we promote that healing. What we do is we try to help the body balance and align itself so that it is able to self-heal. Things are changing and people are not handling their stresses very well. And it's coming out, as depressions and anxiety. And so what's happening is I've been bombarded lately with phone calls to help, to help for people that don't want to take the medication and for people that want to take a more holistic approach and maybe see what's happening. Why is this happening? What can we do to help? And I've been working on it. I'm a little tired myself. But neck pain, if I cannot heal the neck pain in a structural way, then I look at what's the underlying cause of something else that would be giving you neck pain, and I look into the nervous system. And the way I do that is I connect and I manually muscle test your subconscious that knows absolutely everything. And I ask the questions. What's the underlying cause or reason why you're having neck pain? If it's not structural, is it coming from maybe the emotional brain centers? And if it is, and it is an emotional issue, I find what's the emotion, I release that emotion, and it allows the body to heal.
Mila has helped me, but I have been honored to work with Mila and see these people and animals that she's helped, and just hearing their stories and seeing their transformations is truly incredible, which is going to lead me into my next question. If you could share a success story, one of your maybe most favorite, could be a recent one, can you just share a success story? You don't have to say any names, just
So I have so many different success stories, and I have a lot of
She truly
success
does.
stories, not only with people.
How about this? Can you give me one with people and one for animals?
So my favorite one for animal is a horse that I had that came from the Amish country. He was very badly abused there by his owner. And a woman in New Jersey had bought this young horse who was probably 2 years old at the time for her 8-year-old daughter. And she brings him home and he starts to buck. So she gets a trainer, and as this horse sees the trainer, he gets even worse. And this horse starts to buck, and they can't get this horse out of control. And the trainer just, kind of puts her hands up and says, I don't know, maybe this horse is defective, give it back. Meanwhile, this kid is already in love with this horse, and they can't give it back, and so they don't know what to do. So they call me and say, Mila, can you come and communicate with this horse and find out what's happening? So I come out and I take the horse's energy and I test his nervous system and my nervous system, and that is done through quantum physics and quantum mechanics, and that's the way I do that.
And not to interrupt, but real quick, if someone wants to work with you that's not local, you could still...
I can do that virtually. So I have clients in San Francisco, I have clients in Florida, all over the world.
Yeah.
And I can do this virtually. I can do it via email or...
and that's for both animals and
for anybody.
People,
horses, cats, dogs. I can do that virtually. But sometimes I enjoy these animals, so I go out to the farms. And so I came out and I connected my energy to this horse, and I tested my manual, did some manual muscle testing, and I asked a lot of questions, and basically this horse gave me a full story of why he hated the trainer, why he didn't want to train, and what his story was. He was very badly abused and he didn't trust humans anymore. And so when I released, emotions of despair and anxiety and worry and hopelessness and failure, and crying and shame and humiliation and unworthiness and all these terrible emotions that we sometimes come in that we perceive from other people, or absorb from other people, right? When I released that energy, the very next day I got a phone call, and she said, Mila, he learned a new trick. Meanwhile, for months at a time, this kid would try to come next to this horse and he would just buck. So that is, an incredible story with a horse. I've had dogs that where vets couldn't get them better in emergencies, and we were able to clear some energy out, and miraculously they survived. All kinds of different, things. Cats, emotions, they could be ours. We can feel them. But a lot of the times, emotions can be absorbed from someone else, right? So let's say you come home and your parents are fighting, and as soon as you come home, the fighting stops and they're quiet. But you come in and you could feel the energy. Something is wrong. You know right away something is up, right? You feel it. Why? Because you use your senses. It's your intuition. It's your other subtle energies that you're able to use to pick up on it. Because we are all intuitive. As human beings, we are all capable of using our extra senses. What kills me is when someone says, she's psychic. And I look and I'm like, she's not psychic. She's full of shit. We're all psychic. It's whether we tap into our abilities that are God-given from, as humans, and use them. And if you use them, you can feel subtle things. And so emotions, when they come in, they don't have to only be yours. You can absorb them from other people, or you can also inherit them.
Yeah.
So I worked with a young woman who absorbed emotions from her grandparents that were in the Holocaust.
Oh my God.
And they just went from generation to generation to generation, and she could never understand why she was successful and she got a great job and she had all this money, but she always felt like something was wrong. It wasn't enough. Why? Because the lack was passed down from generation of generation because her grandparents lacked. And so when we clear that emotion, we not only clear it from the person, but we clear it from everybody that goes up. And sometimes it goes generations back. Truly amazing.
It really is. Mm-hmm. I mean, you haven't yet worked with my mom personally, but I feel like even my relationship with her recently has gotten much better.
Because by releasing some of your junk and emotional baggage, you now have an understanding maybe a little bit more about your mom and what she went through.
And you've released some of the stuff that I had from her. You even said after once, you're like, let me know how your mom's feeling after this.
Right, because when I release an inherited emotion from you and then everybody up, it just, everybody heals. Yeah. And I hear that very often. I actually have a testimonial from one of my clients who said that she saw a difference in her line of women, her aunt, her mother. It was truly amazing.
It is amazing. And it creates like the bonds and the relationships that they might not have ever had because of all the traps.
Of course. And as people, what is this life? We're here to learn lessons. And sometimes, our lessons are very painful lessons. And sometimes when we don't learn our lessons the first time around, it comes back again. And so when it comes back again, it kind of scratches a little bit at your door a little harder. And when you don't pay attention to see, well, why is this happening? It comes back again, until boom, you have that tower moment, right? And things blow up for you. I have recently a client who's a handful for me at this point. I took on a big responsibility, but this was a beautiful, young, smart, capable woman who is in her 40s, who has a young child, and because of a relationship that she didn't digest well and was hurt, her sweet soul was hurt, it threw her into a cascade. And it threw her into such a terrible depression, anxiety, that she lost all ability to function. And when her friends and her family didn't know what to do with her, they sent her to the Princeton house, where the doctors there tried very hard to bring her together. They sent her to therapy, let's talk it out. They stabilized her. They put her on 2 antidepressants. They gave her 2 antipsychotic medications. They gave her 2 anxiety medications. And she came back home, sent after a week to her child. And she couldn't function. And she was suicidal. She didn't want to live. She wanted to jump out her window. And, the way I got involved is she actually gave me a call and said, can you help me? And I said, I'm going to help you. And little by little, by working with her, clearing her energy and her energy systems, working on her chakras, doing all kinds of different things to stabilize her, she's, in a very short period of time, starting to sleep, starting to eat, starting to smile, starting to laugh, starting to be her own self. And that makes me happy. On the other hand, it makes me very sad, because this is not a woman that had schizophrenia, bipolar, or any history of mental illness. This is a woman that truly was hurt by a man that she opened her heart to. And he was a narcissist, and he squashed it. And instead of helping her kind of release that energy in a natural way so she can cope and have the therapy and everything else, they bombarded her with medication that made her even...
Well, it's nothing. It masks it.
It made her not functional. She lost the ability to logically think, and that drove her crazier. Okay, the side effects from the medications. And she refused to go back to inpatient, and So when she asked for help, I said, I'm not a doctor. I am an energy healer, and all we can do is try to release some of that energy and do other type of holistic things. And I got other providers like functional medicine doctors involved who can give her herbs, and give her vitamins and give her the things that she needs to support her. And she just took a different route in her healing. And I think that more people should realize that modern medicine is great, but if something doesn't work for you, look outside the box. Even if it sounds weird, even if it sounds strange, even if it's like, what is this voodoo shit? You know?
Oh, I love when people say that.
It is what it is. I don't really care what people say, because you know what? The proof is in the pudding. When you take someone who's broken and you release some of that energy and you look at their, twist their perception, because what you perceive is what your reality is. Sometimes I can do this in 2 visits. Sometimes it takes me longer. It depends how much garbage you rack up. And the older you are, the more shit you have in your trunk.
But I feel like it's also kind of like a maintenance thing too, even because going through life, how much shit do we deal with? How many people do we see? I mean, I went to a conference in Edison, and I remember walking into the room, and it's supposed to be like all energy, like just like the positive, everything. They had the sound bowls, everything. But the amount of people that were in there, I walked in and I was like, I have to get out of here, because I just felt all the different energies. Mm-hmm. And we do the events, we host the events, and have sometimes over 300 plus women in one room, and
and last time I didn't go to your event because of that reason.
Yeah. And it's just, so for someone like me, you might have cleared like what you had to clear for, but I would rather come to you. I mean, listen, I'm not done with my work yet, but like I would, even if you're like, oh, great, you're cleared, you're done, I would still want to come to you regularly because of life and just dealing with other people, especially if you're in an industry where you're dealing with people consistently. I think it's an ongoing thing, just like how, you brush your teeth, make sure your teeth stay.
It's right. You want to use it as a preventative. It's a holistic. It's a maintenance. You got to keep working on yourself. And always. Sometimes you get situations, and situations don't come to you by chance or coincidence. They come because this is what you need to deal with. And sometimes we have a hard time dealing. We don't digest things correctly. And sometimes you just need someone who can spin it for you and help you heal in a different way, show you a little bit. I use a lot of my intuitive abilities of knowing and feeling to be able to use my wisdom to get through to someone, to really make them understand. Because I'm not a psychologist. I don't have a degree in psychology, and I don't do psychology. What I do is I really, truly use my intuitive. I talk to you. I ask you what the issue is. I look at your energetic fields. I take a look at you and your eyes, the window to your soul, to see what's inside. It's the first thing I do. I look inside those eyes. And a lot of the times when I look inside someone's eyes, I see sadness, Mm-hmm. And I ask, is there an issue? And I manual muscle test, and I release that energy. And when that energy leaves, you can physically feel it on your body.
You can. That one time that I called you up, I had a work event, but like the whole weekend, it was after our event, and I don't know what was wrong with me. I just felt so sad, and just like I just couldn't get myself out of this terrible feeling of, and I just, like I said, I didn't know what it was. So I called Mila, and I'm like, I don't know if you have any, or no, I sent you a voice note regularly talking, and then all of a sudden just broke down crying, and I'm like, I don't know if you have anything available today, if I can come by. Mila's like, come on over. I went to Mila's house. She released. We hung out for a little bit, and then I went home, and she even said, she's like, you're gonna pass out early tonight. Fell asleep early. I woke up the next day, and it's like you feel like a new person. You feel this weight off your shoulder. You feel just more clear-headed, just overall, just...
Your mind is a very strong thing, Amanda. what people I think don't realize is the mind, you can create or destroy anything with just the mind. Mm-hmm. And I think that if more people understood that things are changing, our times are changing, our energies are changing, you know? And with that change, we have to change. I think that 2024 is going to bring a lot of innovation, but it's also going to bring a lot of new things that we never thought were possible. And creating things with your mind, you know? If you set your mind on something and this is what you put out there, it's going to come back very quickly. Mm-hmm. So, you know, thoughts are energy. You got to be very careful what you put out there. And you put it out and it comes right back. So if you put out, everything is okay, everything is fine, and you vibrate at a higher frequency and everything is great, you just mellow out, you know? You just everything is okay. It's all how you look at things. It's the perception in life, you know? If you look at like everything is crazy and you're, you know, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to make the money? I need the job. I don't have a boyfriend. This sucks. That sucks. Well, that's how your life is going to be, you know? If you meet the challenge that comes to you, it's for a reason. It's something you need to learn. Your soul needs to go through this. But if you go through it, understand it, digest it in the right way, you come out stronger, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what I always say, be very careful of a very strong woman. When a narcissist puts down a very strong woman, be very careful when that woman rises from the ashes, because she's powerful. And when she comes back, he better take a step back, because that's when, you know, she's in her prime and in her, you know, highest.
Her queen era.
Yeah. And I think I get a kick of seeing that, because I've seen so many women that are hurt over a guy that's not worth, you know, and this is not just for guys, because I've seen a lot of men that are hurt by women. So right. It's both. I just tend to, you know, for some reason attract a lot of women, and all types of relationships, but that's why I always go for the, you know, say when the woman rises, because I've seen the opposite as well. You know, yeah. I've seen men that have come into their manlyhood and feel, and we know somebody, both of us that I've worked with, who was very depressed. He was very anxious. He didn't want to get dressed. He didn't have a sex drive. His marriage was falling apart. And when we released some of that energy, his wife said, "My God, I've never had such sex in my life." Right?
Yes, yeah.
He was doing well in his job. He just flourished, right?
Yeah.
And so when you give someone that little bit of a push in the right direction, you know, a little energy work, a little tough love, a little understanding, they flourish.
Now imagine if like the whole world knew more about this and could work with people like you, because how much of a higher vibration the world would be at.
Of course. They wouldn't be medicated.
Right.
They're medicating everybody and nobody can vibrate. Who can vibrate at anything?
I mean, listen, we could definitely do a topic on that. That could be its own episode, because I just, the medication and the whole realm of things, I feel like is just, here, let me put this on, let me prescribe you with this just to mask whatever you're feeling. You're not going to get rid of it. You're just going to mask it. But at the same time, you're going to also develop this, this, and this from it. Because then they want you to come back and come for more. And it's a money-making thing.
Yeah.
So, but with that, this all kind of ties into like my next question for you is, what's one thing that you wish more people knew or understood about the emotion code?
I wish that people would just give it a try. You know, I wish that people would look outside the box and not be so quick to run and, you know, grab some medication or do something drastic, but try a different approach. And it doesn't just have to be emotion code. You know, there's other energy healing modalities out there that work very well. You know, it started with what, acupuncture, and then the next craze is Reiki, and there's a lot of different types of modalities that people could try. So I think it's important to try. Look outside the box. You know, don't be so closed-minded. Open up to new things.
Absolutely.
And we were never open to cell phones. You know, we'd go use the phone booth. You probably don't even know what a phone booth is.
Oh, I know what a phone booth is. Okay. Please.
We used to put it in quarter. You know, my mom used to give me a quarter.
I thought it was 35 cents.
Well, it started with 10 cents. Right. And then went on to 25.
Listen, I was around even when the cigarettes were in the diners and you could just pull down the thing. I mean, I was too young to have them, but...
And we never thought, right, that we would have all this social media and the web.
Right.
When we didn't have computers, did we do?
Right. So there was a time where people were like, I don't want a computer. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to do that. But like you said, be open-minded. Give it a try. My whole thing is like, what's the worst that's going to happen? It doesn't work for you? Okay, move on to the next thing.
You have to try everything. It's your health. You know, without your health, you have nothing. You don't have anything. You don't have your health. You don't have relationships. You don't have money. You don't have success. You have nothing without your health. Without your mental, your physical, your emotional health, you have nothing. And there is no amount of money in this world that is going to give you that health. You know, I've seen very, very rich people who have zero health and no happiness. And I've seen very poor people who have had joy in their life. True joy, you know? So if you're at the point where you are seeing something is wrong, don't give up. Try something new. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Doesn't work? It's non-invasive.
Right.
It's not, hypnosis.
Well, that's what I love about the emotion code is also the fact that you don't have to talk.
No, it's like therapy without talking, because I'm talking to your brain by testing your arm. Because
sometimes there's things that I would come to Mila and be like, oh, I want to talk about this. My subconscious mind was like, no, sweetie, that's not what you want to talk about today. I'm like, God damn it. But like, even still, like not having to speak about things that happened in my childhood that you were able to release is amazing without having to speak about it and go because think about it. And
it's trauma.
It's hard to sometimes say certain things that happen. Like getting it out there, you're kind of like, it's embarrassing. Even if you did nothing wrong, it's still an embarrassing thing to say. And it's just such a great thing to just not have to say it and just have it released and have that weight be lifted from you.
You feel lighter. You feel sometimes tired. You know, it's interesting when the energy goes, people feel different things. Some people get the runs, some people start to burp, some people start to uncontrollably cry, others uncontrollably laugh. Some people say I'm dizzy or tingling, itchy, tingling down their arms and the legs, lightning flashing, and they look at me and it's amazing to see how physically when the energy starts to leave, because we can't really see the energy, but we are made of energy. If you take our hand looks solid, but if you put it under a microscope and you magnify it, you'll see cells. Then you magnify it a little more, you see molecules. You magnify it a little more and it goes down to an atom. And what's inside an atom? It's just, energy zipping at a speed of light. And that's what we're made of. So the table is made of energy. You put the light on, you don't, the light goes on, but you don't see the energy going through it, right? That's energy. Our heart beats with energy. And so when we're clogged and we got junk in there, it corrodes our energy centers and we don't flow, and we need to flow. Energy needs to flow. And so a painful experience, violent experience, abuse, trauma, it clogs our energy fields, and it then lands on our physical bodies, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally. If we unclog that and allow the energy to move, because we need to breathe, everything works. And we have to use our minds, because our minds are very strong. What we put out is what we get back. They're doing studies where they're blindfolding children and they're teaching them to read blindfolded. Okay? Children are able to speak to one another by looking, just looking, using their mind. And scientists, physicists are looking into all of these new sciences. So mark my words, Amanda, and soon, in 2024, 2025, they're going to come out. All these physicists are going to come out, look at what we can do, because science has shown us that we can change the pH of a litmus paper. Okay? Which means that if we can, by intent, change the pH of a litmus paper, we are all water, and we can change our own pH. We can, with our minds, help our own bodies heal.
Interesting, because
You didn't know that,
I did not know that.
Corey Caroline is doing a lot of this consciousness, scientific testing. She has, it's called The Superhuman, I believe, by Corey Caroline. It's very, very interesting. Book? It's not a book. It's a documentary where it's a series. You can see it, I think, on Gaia MTV or a subscription where you can download and watch it. And it's called The Invisible Made Visible. It talks about distance remote viewing, and it's actually experiments, scientific experiments that they're doing with all kinds of different things, abilities, subtle abilities. And we truly are able to do a lot of these things with our minds. And I'm excited to see that because, being in the medical field for almost 30 years, I'm a little bit frustrated. I didn't expect things to be like this, and I'm seeing things that are different. I'm still treating, and the people that are coming to me are truly so debilitated at such a young age. So many issues that are muscular issues, but that started of a cascade from stress from the nervous system, and that's sad for me to see. We're seeing people that are much younger that are sicker, more medications, more mental health issues, and it shouldn't be like that. No. And I think that we can make a change by raising a little awareness, because things are shifting.
And that's where podcasts like this, YouTube, TikTok, which at the end Mila will share all her everywhere where you can connect with her. But that's why it is great for people to really just expand your mind, learn new things, listen to podcasts, just be more conscious, be more aware. But so what are some other things that you offer your potential clients? So I know you do the emotion code and you are a physical therapist, but
so physical therapy is a different business that I'm starting to wean away from this, because 30 years later,
she's ready to.
I'm ready to onto the next things. And I've been very blessed, and I've been very honored and humbled by the people that I have evaluated and
you've
treated.
Learned so much through that. It's
God, they've taught me how to be a true healer. It was from my patients, not only the physical, but the mind, the body, and the soul, and how everything is interconnected. And
so we're grateful you did that.
Yeah, I'm grateful to my patients, truly. But, I am...
Right now, so someone wants to work with you, what are different things? I mean, I know what they are, but I want you to say what you do.
I do life coaching. I do spiritual guidance. I do different types of cards, and sometimes numerology, sometimes astrology, sometimes the tarot cards. It all depends, some metaphysical things. I do have a master's degree in science, so I am very scientific based, but I've spread my wings, opened up my mind to all kinds of different ways of healing, and I've kind of put together my own little concoction of, depending on who comes,
what they need.
And
I feel like that's so the beauty of you having your science background and all this is that I think that more people who aren't as open to this kind of stuff are a little bit more okay, well, let me give her a try, because you do have that end. And it's some people are more...
Right, I have a master's degree in sciences, and I've taken a lot of courses in physics and quantum physics and epigenetics and, every scientific, because for me, I need a scientific reason. Why does this happen?
Right.
It's not just, I really had to look at the, say, wait a minute, what is this shit? This can't be, give me a scientific reason. And I feel that scientifically is the same thing as the metaphysical.
Yeah.
There's no difference. It's just from two different beliefs, ideas, but it's the same thing. And everybody's a little bit different. And you put a blend of it together and you make a concoction just right for that person, for them to be able to heal, whether it's emotionally, whether it's mentally, or whether it's physically. If you have back pain all the time, where's that back pain really coming from? Is it really a disc that's causing this pain? Because if you look at an MRI of 100 people, about 60% have herniated discs. Only 40% of them complain of pain. So where's the rest coming from? I say it's worry about finances. So anybody out there that has low back pain, think about it. When you start to worry about something, or when you're worried about your finances, do you find that your back pain starts to act up?
Yeah.
Knee pain?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's other reasons than structural reasons why somebody would become ill.
Yeah.
Because this is just a physical vessel, but we're really a spirit that's inside. And when that spirit is hurting, and that's when, a lot of the issues come in.
Yeah.
Heartache. And that could really make you or break you in every way. So I think that it's important to look outside the box, especially for the younger generation.
Yeah.
The kids now that are in their 20s and 30s and, 40s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with, as much as we, I do appreciate the social media because it connects you with people from all over. I feel like a lot of people do struggle with it at the same time because, face it, not everybody looks like they do on their social media all the time. I mean, sometimes never, because there's filters and all the things, right?
Right.
So now you're having a little bit of a crappy day, not feeling your best. You jump on social media and this person looks like a goddess, and you're like, why don't I look like that? So like, as much as it is important for our generation, especially who.
Your generation needs to learn about self-worth, self-love, self-care, and not to be so materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the power and the greed and who has a bigger car and who has, nicer nails or who's got a Gucci bag.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about, because times are changing, and those people that can't keep up with those times, they're going to, really be disappointed.
What is one thing that you would tell younger Mila? One piece of advice you would give your younger self?
I would say that you always remember that you're your unique gift, that you are perfect just the way that you are, the way that you were born. And all of the lessons that you've had is okay, It made you who you are today. Not to be afraid, to be strong, not to listen to anybody, be your unique self and be okay to be you. That. Don't be afraid of what somebody says or how somebody judges you or, how they look at you. Be yourself and be okay in your own shoes. And that's not just for me. I think it's for everybody.
No, yeah, I love that.
It's okay to be you. You're enough. You're beautiful just the way, just how you are.
I love that.
Yeah.
And as much as that would be a perfect way to end this, I still have one more question for you.
I love you, Amanda. So?
Tomorrow's the end of the world.
Oh, God.
And not the end of the world. It's the end of your world in this form. And Mila's in this body. Tomorrow's your last day. Everything that you have shared is deleted. Nothing is around anymore. But you can leave one piece of advice to the world. What would that piece of advice be?
I think that it's important to remember that love is very important. That if we truly love each other, it's the most important thing that anybody can leave behind. You know, have love not only for yourself, but for everybody else. That it would stop as a community, you know, if we love each other. There wouldn't be any racism. There wouldn't be any issues with politics. And there wouldn't be any, you know, world battles with wars. We just have to love, you know, love with our hearts.
I love that.
You know, be good to each other.
I do. I love that.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm going to say that you did share with me that stuck with me since you said it to me the last time.
I'm glad. What did I say?
It was just, it kind of helps in the sense of someone who's grieving for somebody. So you said we all choose
to come into this life.
Right.
Before we're born. You know, our souls come in and we already know our destiny, and we choose the lessons that we're going to learn and the people that we're going to be and the karma that we're going to play out in this world and come back and redo again. It's our choice. So people say, well, I was born to these parents and I didn't get a chance. You chose those parents because you thought that they were going to be the best parents for you, because they were going to teach you.
Yeah, and that's
those
just
lessons
that stuck with me, and it's true. What I went through when I was younger, I feel like now I'm using that
to heal others.
Yeah. So we all choose our crazy, fun, dysfunctional lives for a reason.
Yeah, and we all have it. You show me one person that has a normal, you know, what we call normal.
Yeah.
You know, what's normal?
Boring. It reminds me, you won't know this, but SpongeBob. You know SpongeBob?
I know SpongeBob SquarePants.
There's an episode of him.
Did she just say that I don't know SpongeBob SquarePants? What do you think I am?
I'm like you, but so I grew up
Krabby
watching
Patty.
SpongeBob. Exactly. So there's an episode where Squidward keeps telling you got to be normal, be normal. So he does this thing where it makes him normal, and he's like this like polished sponge, and he's normal. And Squidward ends up being like, no, I don't like it. Go back to being yourself. This is not okay. Like, this is weird because normal is boring.
Right.
And there's no such thing as normal. Like, who is normal? There's no normal.
No, there's no normal. Normal is normal. And abnormal is still normal.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different life, and everybody has a different experience, you know?
And that is the beauty of...
And that's the beauty of life, that we're able to experience, and we're able to have emotions, and we're able to, you know, experience different emotions of love and sadness. Yeah. Because if you didn't know, you know, sadness, you wouldn't know happiness. And vice versa. You know, emotions were meant to be used as a guidance, to guide us, not as a reactor. You know, I have on my TikTok, I have this little TikTok where I talk about the difference, you know, and that's the truth, that people use emotions and they react to emotions instead of really truly using it as a guidance. And if most of us would use these emotions as a guidance system, life would be good.
Life would be great. So... Speaking of TikTok.
My TikTok.
So, listen, we're going to have you on again because I feel like you and I could talk for a long time. And you always have such great things to say and share. But for everybody who's listening right now, I'm going to have this in the description as well. But where can everyone find you? Where can they work with you? How can they get in touch with you? And what social media platforms can they follow you on?
So they can find me at innerwisdomenergy@gmail.com. I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, I have a
She has Facebook
and YouTube channel.
Yeah. And soon podcast. She's like, leave me alone, stop it.
I'm not sure.
But no, I will make sure I have all of Mila's information in the description below, how you can work with her, how you can contact her. I highly, highly, highly recommend reaching out to her, even if it's for a quick consult call and seeing how she can help you, whether you're local in Monmouth County, New Jersey, or if it's anywhere in the world, you can really work with her. But again, I'll have everything in the description below. But Mila, thank you so much for taking time to come on this episode. This has been a long-awaited episode.
Yes, it was. But this was fun.
This was fun, and I'll definitely have you on again. And I appreciate everything you're doing for not just the community, but for the world, because you're making a positive difference, and the world needs more people like you in it.
I'm following my life purpose.
Amen. So
Thank
true.
you, Amanda.
Thank you, Mila. And that wraps up an enlightening conversation with Mila from Inner Wisdom Holistic Healing. Today, we've uncovered the layers of the emotion code and how it serves as a beacon for those seeking to heal and find balance in their lives. I hope you're leaving this episode feeling inspired with a newfound curiosity towards holistic healing. Be sure to connect with Mila with any questions that you might have. All her information is in the description below. And if you want to hear more episodes like this, DM me on Instagram and let me know so we can continue providing the best episodes for you guys. And until next time, may you move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Thanks again for tuning in to Real Talk in My Rooms, and we'll see you next week.